Why motivation is overrated and what to do instead. Let's talk about the myths of motivation. We've all been told that motivation is the key to success. We watch motivational videos, read inspiring quotes, and wait for that perfect moment when we feel like taking action. But here is the truth about motivation: it is unreliable. It comes and goes, and if we depend on it, we'll never get anything done consistently. Now, before you crucify me, listen to this. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright for a moment, but quickly fades. Think about how motivated you feel at the start of a new goal, like hitting the gym or starting a new project. A few days or weeks later, the excitement is gone, and suddenly showing up feels like a struggle. That is because motivation is based on emotions, and emotions are unpredictable. Now, the power of discipline. Instead of relying on motivation, successful people rely on discipline. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It is about creating habits, routines that remove the need for motivation. When something becomes a habit, you do it automatically, whether you are in the mood or not. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, he said that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Instead of waiting for inspiration, build a system that makes it easy to take action. If you want to exercise at the same time every day, if you want to write, set up a daily writing ritual. System create consistency. Instead of thinking, I need motivation to work out, tell yourself, I'm the kind of person who works out every day. When your actions align with identity, it becomes natural. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth, you just do it. Apply the same mindset to your goals. Now, how to reduce friction and make things easy for yourself. One reason we fail to act is that we make things too hard for ourselves. If you want to read more, put books where you can actually see them. If you want to wake up early, place your alarm across the room. Small changes that reduce friction makes it easy or easier to follow through. Sometimes the hardest part of getting started, a simple trick is to commit to just 2 minutes of action. Want to go to the gym? Just put on your workout clothes. Want to write a book? Just open your document and type one sentence. Most of the time, once you start, you keep going. Now, let me give you a few intakes on why you should actually take action now. If you've been waiting for motivation, stop. Start with small, consistent actions, build systems, and shift your identity. Success doesn't come from being motivated, it comes from doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. Back in my school days, I had a close friend who was full of ambition. He always had big dreams and talked about all the things he wanted to achieve. He wanted to be the best basketball player in our school, get straight A's, and even start a small side business selling custom t-shirts. Every time we talked, he was fired up with motivation. He watched inspirational videos, read books about success, and even had a vision board in his room with all his goals written down. For a while, it seemed like nothing could stop him. He was always excited to take on new challenges and would talk about how hard he was going to work. At first, his motivation worked. He started waking up early to train for basketball before school, stayed up late studying, and spent his weekends brainstorming ideas for his business. It was really impressive to see, and honestly, I thought he had figured everything out. But then, something started happening. His energy started fading. The same guy who was waking up at 5 a.m. to practice suddenly started sleeping in. His strict study schedule became inconsistent and he found himself procrastinating more and more. When I asked him about it, he would just sigh and say, "I don't feel motivated anymore." It was frustrating to watch because he had so much potential, but he was stuck in a circle of waiting for motivation to return. At the same time, I noticed something interesting. There were other students in our school who weren't as motivated as my friend, but they had a different approach. They didn't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. One student in particular, a quiet but hardworking guy in our class, became the top student, not because he was constantly inspired, but because he had built solid habits. He studied at the same time every day, whether he felt like it or not. He wasn't trying to hype himself up or wait for the perfect moment. He just did the work day in, day out. The same thing happened on the basketball team. While my friend kept waiting for motivation to strike, another guy on the team trained every single day, rain or shine. He wasn't the most natural talented player, but he showed up and put in the work no matter what. He didn't need a motivational speech to get started. He had built a system that made training part of his routine. Over time, he became one of the best players on the team simply because he was consistent. It wasn't about talent, and it definitely wasn't about motivation. It was about showing up even when it didn't feel like it. That is when I realized that motivation is overrated. It's just an emotion, and like all emotions, it comes and goes. If we rely on motivation, we will never be consistent. Instead, the real key to success is discipline and habits. Instead of waiting for inspiration, successful people create systems that make action automatic. If my friend had committed to a daily routine, he wouldn't have needed motivation to push him forward. He would have just done what needed to be done, like brushing his teeth or eating breakfast. The problem was, he was treating success like something that needed an emotional push every single time, instead of making it a habit. Another thing I noticed was how successful students and athletes made things easy for themselves. The top students in our class didn't wait until the night before to cram for an exam. He studied a little bit every single day, so it never felt overwhelming. The best basketball player in our school didn't just train whenever he felt like it. He scheduled his workouts at the same time every day, so they became part of his normal routine. They removed the excuses and made it easy to stay consistent. That is what separated them from people like my friend, who were relying on bursts of motivation that eventually ran out. Looking back, I wish my friend had learned this earlier. He had the talent, the energy, and the dreams, but was missing the key ingredients, which is discipline. Instead of waiting for motivation, he needed to commit to small daily actions, build solid routines, make his goals part of his identity. He wasn't just someone who wanted to be great. He needed to be the kind of person who trained, studied, and worked hard every day. No matter how he felt, that's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ones who win are the ones who show up consistently, whether they feel like it or not. If you've ever found yourself waiting for motivation, Don't. Stop relying on emotion that comes and goes. Instead, start small, create a routine, and stick to it. The most successful people aren't the ones who feel inspired all the time. They are the ones who take action even when they don't feel like it. So, ask yourself, what is one small thing you can commit to doing today? Even if you don't feel like it, because that is what will make the real difference in the long run.